It is now 11:30. Are you ready to get started, Colleen?
I am ready.
Okay. I'm gonna hit
And there are
record.
two chat
Oh, nope.
messages here.
I'll let you hit record.
And one is an online whiteboard that Stephen Monto has shared, awwapp.com. So maybe Steve will write that into the session folders document, tech tools. And then Sean says,
yes,
yeah,
I'll share it.
okay, good deal. All right, so I'm going to keep you posted on chat things, Melissa, but I would say that people could open their mics, wouldn't you, and speak up?
Yes, if you would just keep it muted while other people are talking, just so we don't have an echo. But if you would like to speak up, go ahead and unmute. Don't forget to hit record, Colleen.
We are
Or will
recording. We are recording.
We are? Okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
I have a recording icon on my screen.
Perfect. Okay.
This is the ASU account. It records automatically.
Oh, so then you're automatic.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get started, as you'll see in all of your sessions today, we just like to go through a little bit of guidelines for conduct or discussion, and just remind all of you that we're here to work collaboratively and work together. So that means to share the airtime equitably, and we do want to make this a safe spot where you can share without feeling that your time is not being respected or your voice is not being respected. Also, just a reminder, this is being recorded, so if you do want to shut your camera off, you are welcome to do so. We do ask that you mute your microphone when you're not speaking so we don't have the echo. You're welcome to raise hands and we can kind of pay attention to that as well, or add stuff to the chat. Please add to the notes if you have things, tech tools to share. They are in the folder. You can find that link back in the schedule. And then feel free to add to the conversation on Twitter. At AMTA Teachers is the AMTA account, and then the hashtag we're using for the conference is hashtag ModSci2020. All right, well, we are going to get started. We have with us today Fran Poudry from Vernier Software and Technology. She is the Director of Physics with, I believe, more than 2 decades of physics teaching experience. Yes, Fran?
Yep.
So I'm going to let you take it away. I'm going to stop sharing and let you go ahead and take the floor.
Is that what you wanted to show me? All right. Let me go and share my screen. Just a sec. Let's see.
Did you bring an umbrella?
No, why? Let's try. This is tricky. I want to share Chrome, but I've got like too many windows open. So hold on, let me try this again. Close.
As the kids would say, full screen, F11.
We've all been there.
That doesn't do anything. Let's see. How do I get out of share screen? Oh, here we go. Let's try this. And let me try again. Let's just share the whole thing, whatever. Ah, now it wants me to do this weird thing with the security and privacy. Clearly, I'm not actually currently teaching, because if I were currently teaching, I would be able to actually do this more, let's see, better, more better. Yep, that's what I'm trying to say. All right, let's try again.
So while we're waiting for Fran to get her screen on, I am looking at that Google Doc and people are popping in all kinds of great suggestions. If you're not on the doc yet, I think you will find all kinds of tech tools there. And the one that I heard about in the last session that I thought was most interesting is lino.it, or linoit.com actually is the English version of that. But it's a way for kids to like just put sticky notes on a board, basically. It's just a big sticky note board that you can use. And what I heard is that it is free. So that's my favorite new tech tool that I haven't tried out yet, but plan to.
All right, I think this will
That
work
was
now.
fast. Oh, go for it, Fran. Yay!
All right, I cannot tell what you can see.
Nothing yet.
Okay, let's see. Bring your shared window to the front. Where is my shared window? There it is. All right, can you see?
Oh, there it is.
Excellent.
There it is.
All right,
Yes.
I got it. So this is pivotinteractives.com. There's lots of options here. This is basically a little teaser for my full presentation tomorrow. But this is where you would go if you wanted to, for example, set up a free trial. Setting up a free trial would be great preparation for tomorrow if you do not already have one or if you do not have an account. I'm also going to be sharing a class key with you tomorrow so that you'll actually be able to join my class and see some things. One of the most interesting things to do is to actually look at the Pivot Interactives library. The Pivot Interactives library shows you all of the available activities on Pivot Interactives, and there's a couple hundred of them. So you can sort them by subject and you can see how many there are in each subject. Note that this is useful for biology, chemistry, earth science, and physics. And we're actually increasing the number of biology activities this summer. They're specifically geared towards AP biology, but we're probably going to be useful for other levels of biology as well. And as you can see, there's more physics ones than anything else. But all of these, you can look at a preview. And when you look at a preview, you'll get to see what the student would see. So for example, here's one that's a biology one comparing human respiration before and after running. And you can't actually see it because you haven't signed in or requested a free trial, but you can see that there are questions and you can score them. You can score them as a teacher within the app itself. You can also, you do this through Canvas. And we're working on Blackboard, and hopefully as time passes, we'll get more and more of the LMSs available so that you'll be able to integrate better. Let me go back to the library here. Some of these are available to look at beyond like they're actually free, and I'm not sure. Let's see, let me try searching for free. Anything? No, it doesn't. Let's see. No. All right, not able to do that. I will have to sign in to show you that. But again, this is a teaser for tomorrow, so you can see tomorrow. I do advise looking through the blog as well. The blog has a lot of great articles that have a whole bunch of different information. For example, develop models first, vocabulary later. How do you do that using Pivot Interactives? How can you look at things like the greenhouse effect, you know, the truck full of canaries idea. So how do you do just straight up video analysis with Pivot Interactives without needing any other platform? You can just have students upload videos to Pivot Interactives. So this is, like I said, a teaser. I'm going to stop now, and if you have any questions, you can ask them. I'll check on the chat.
Or just open up your mic and ask.
So the question, is this appropriate for middle school too? There's some privacy issues actually. We're not COPPA compliant, so not for students under 12 years old. But some of them are certainly at a level that you could use with 7th and 8th graders. And yes, the question, are interactions designed for AP levels too? Yes, you can actually sort by AP subject. You can use these even at the college level. So we actually have different pricing schemes for high school and college. If you're doing AP, you can choose the high school pricing and teach your AP course with the college level materials. You can also edit all of the materials. So if you find that, oh, you found one that you really like the videos of, but the questions are at too low of a level or too high of a level, you can change them.
So you can add your own videos too, correct? Because this past year I used it and I really enjoyed it. I did the Apollo 15 hammer and feather drop in Pivot, and it worked really well. So.
Yes, you can definitely add your own videos.
So feel free, if you have any other questions, it would be great. Just go ahead and open up your mic and ask those.
This is kind of a weird question. My school, I'm at a private school, and we get funding for curriculum. Could this be considered curriculum, or is this considered something else?
That's a really good question. I think you could make the argument that you could use it as curriculum, but I think that would be up to you. I don't know that we have a statement on that. There's a question that says, do your edits carry over year after year? Yes, they do. You would store the activity in your My Library, and even if your account lapses, like maybe you're not teaching that course this year or next year, then if you sign in again the following year, your account would still be there with all the materials intact.
I have a question. If you have to use, like for my district, we had to use Google Classroom. We could not use anything else. So is there a way to like take Pivot and link it into another, like Google Classroom, for instance, or in YouTube, and then a link? I don't know how Pivot works, but.
So Pivot is, it's entirely browser based. So if you're in Google, you would just go to pivotinteractives.com and log in. I don't know all the restrictions that Google Classroom has, so I can't really speak to that, but there are probably people who, like Kim just wrote, you just link the URL into your lab document. So you can, for any activity that you're assigning to the kids, you can get a link to that activity and paste it wherever you want. Someone wrote, I remember hearing that the labs are automatically graded. Am I remembering correctly? Right now, only some multiple choice questions are set up for automatic grading. The short answer and the graphs and tables are not auto-graded.
And there's a question in the chat about co-teachers. It says, for co-teachers, if you make your own video, does it easily share with your co-teacher?
Right now, the best way to share with a co-teacher is through the community library, and and we're working on ways to make co-teaching work better. So that's for further development later this summer and into the fall. Hopefully we'll get it done sooner rather than later, because we've got a lot of requests for better working with co-teachers, especially at the college level where you've got multiple instructors teaching the same lab course and multiple TAs. Let's see. Do students have to log in? Yes. Right now they have to log in with an email address. We're working on ways to make that not necessary because we can't sell Pivot Interactives in Europe right now because GDRP. You can't have any identifying information, and an email is an identifying information. So we're working on ways to make a different way of doing it. In terms of payment, there are two ways of setting up a class. You can set up an instructor paid class so that, or rather institution paid class, so that the institution pays for seats and then students can claim one of those seats. But we also have a student paid model so that you can have your students sign in into a student paid class, and then they have to put in their credit card, or you can also sell seat codes through your bookstore. So either way works. Let's see.
If I have a
Yes.
student in multiple classes, can that student use the same account for, say, biology and chemistry and physics?
No, they would need a separate account for each, at least at this time. If we're doing, we're working on site license models right now and seeing how we could make that work. So if your school had a site license, then that wouldn't make a difference. But right now, the way it works is they would have to do it separately for each class.
Can you clarify by separate account? Do you mean does that need, like, if they were in two classes, one chem, one physics, they need one email for chem and one email for physics accounts?
Right now, I think so, but I don't know for sure. The best person to answer that is Peter Bohacek, and you can reach him by going to pivotinteractives.com and clicking on the chat link at the bottom right corner of that page.
Is it the one with the chocolate chip cookie recipe in it? Question mark.
I'm sorry, what?
I think that was a talk to text error.
Oh. Anyway, I'm asking the question, is Vernier taking over new content creation, or the original author is still involved? Vernier is not taking over new content creation. Our subject matter experts do offer advice, especially in chemistry and physics. In chemistry and biology. They've offered a lot of advice to Peter and Matt as they work on content creation. And they've also consulted with university instructors as well. So yeah, the original authors still own all of Pivot Interactives. Vernier is the sole source distributor, and we also do some tech support and answer questions and handle quotes, etc. Sorry, I'm eating. It's my lunchtime.
I just wanted to throw in that we are really appreciative of both Vernier and Pivot Interactives, who are sponsors for this conference. And Pivot Interactives made subscriptions available free to the distance learning courses that we are holding this summer. And all the feedback that I've had from distance learning teachers who are using it is very positive. So yeah, I think people, especially taking distance learning courses in the era of COVID-19, are eager for good browser-based material, and the reviews have been good.
Brian, there's a question, with Pivot Interactive working with Vernier, would kids graph data with graphical analysis or on Pivot?
On Pivot.
Also, are there scientists or teachers shown in the labs, or is it just the equipment? If people are shown, are they representative of multiple identifiers, race, gender, ability, etc.?
Excellent question. In many cases, the students, student workers at Peter's school are the ones whose hands you see, if you see anybody's hands. It's in Minnesota. They're not a terribly diverse school. So I would not say that there is much race diversity. There is gender diversity. In terms of ability, it's hard to tell from hands. So I think it would be nice if there could be more diversity represented, but you know, that would take more money than they currently have. So if we want to see that, unfortunately, we'll have to pay more.
Wait, can you say that again, Fran? You said it's, can you repeat what you just said?
I said that I think that if we want to get more diversity, we will have to pay more because you will have to find more people. Though I think this is a great photo. It's a whole bunch of boys of different races. Cool.
Well, if you need more diversity, I'll fly in with my family. We can be in your videos. I'll send you my email.
Well, I'm not the one in charge, and you'd be flying to Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And again, I think that you'd have to talk to Peter about that. I mean, right now he does have a lot of student workers. He does a pretty good job of getting girls and boys, but they definitely, it's hard to tell if anyone is disabled, for example, is a wheelchair user, is blind or deaf. It's hard to tell if anyone, like I said, you're mostly seeing hands.
Okay.
There is a question, since there's something lost when doing a lab online versus by hands. However, I have kids who like the non-hands-on lab because of fine motor skill issues. Does Pivot have ideas for blending in hands-on experiences?
That's an excellent question. Right now that's not built in, but you could certainly edit any experiment. So for example, you know, if there's an experiment where you have a whole bunch of different objects that you can roll down a ramp, and these are all separate videos. So you choose the video of which object you want to roll down the ramp. You could then have students, you know, tell students, okay, in your own home, take some cans, different radii, different materials inside, roll them down a ramp, take video.
Okay, do we have any more questions for Fran?
Remember, we've got like, what, a whole hour tomorrow?
Yep.
Yes. So if you think about it overnight, it'll be great.
Maybe I missed something. I see a comment that says, my kids like the Pivot Real Life versus, what's Pivot Real Life?
That's Kim. Kim, do you want to go ahead? Do you want to explain or elaborate on what you said there in the chat? Real life versus STEM?
Yeah, I can. On the Pivot ones, it's like real lab equipment, right? It's real stuff, and as opposed to like a simulation that's like animated or something. So some of my kids have told me that they like the Pivot labs because it's more, it's real lab equipment. It's different than a simulation, even though it's still sort of simulated, because, you know, they're kind of like setting up only certain parameters that you can change based on the videos, but it's a little bit, feels more like doing a lab than like a simulation.
Yeah, it feels authentic.
And there's other quirks that show up too, that are the quirks that we encounter when taking lab data. And so, yeah, Richard just said there's actual uncertainty built in the pivot videos. Kids have to decide between what points do you measure, what variables do you choose, and it was a really nice lab replacement for me for some of the labs I did.
Yeah, measurement error is still there. That's pretty important.
Looking at our participant notes, we have quite a few things in the table. I would love to open it up to anyone who wanted to kind of give us a quick little demo. If you would like to do so, we have time. We are in this session. The session will be open until the half-hour mark. So that gives us another, 34 minutes or so. If you would like to share, we would love to open it up so you can give us a quick little demo of what you have put in the table, or maybe there's something you haven't put in the table yet that you would love to share. Kim, we would love for you to show us Class Kick. I keep hearing about this and everyone keeps saying Class Kick. I've heard it probably about 50 times today. That would be
my
great.
gosh, I know. Okay. What, can I do it?
Yes, please.
You can do it.
Okay. I think it's, can I share the screen? Uh-oh, I just lost it.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, because I can't see you. Can you see me?
We can
see your screen.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this is just really quickly, I'll just show you this one. I made a little video after the last session, but basically the way we're going to use it is last year towards the end of the quarantine, we started making a weekly Google Slides sheet or Google Slides deck. And the kids worked through that for the whole week, and we had all the links in there and everything was in one place, and the kids really appreciated that. So we're gonna keep with that mode for this year. So this is just a camp that I did this last week, online summer camp. It was online summer camp. But so we've created Google Slides, right? And then you can just import them. And then when you import the slide, you can add the different links. Like I've added links to videos and demos, whatever. And then this one, we did a circular motion. This was 5th and 6th graders. We did a circular motion simulation on physics classroom. So I just set up this sheet and then I add these little green boxes, right? Where the kids are gonna type stuff. And it has a bunch of other features, but basically this is what I love about it, especially on the iPad. So I can see all of the kids' work, right? You can assign it to a different thing. So I can see all of the kids' work pretty quickly. So when they were doing this circular motion simulation, right? They were on the Zoom and they were working on it, and I could watch them typing in, and then I could just click through. There's a lot of blanks because we had a lot of extra documents for some reason. So I could just click through each kid and see what they were writing, right? So you can add these little stickers. So I'd be like, yep, Jamila, that looks good. That looks good, right? And then I might be like, uh-oh, what happened here? And I can write them a little note. I can add a little sticker, right? So I could just click right through each of them. And then when I would get to the bottom, I would just go back to the first kid again, and I would just keep scrolling through. And then I could kind of see that they were coming up with the right relationships, right? So I haven't used it in my actual real life class yet, because I just learned about it after we were out of school. But that's pretty much it. And it has a bunch of other features and stuff, but that's kind of what I really super love about it. And then I think I turned it off. I don't know how to get myself off of here because I'm not that good at Zoom. Oh, there we go. Good. So anyway, so there you go. So I put it in the chat and I put a couple of examples. Oh, I didn't show you my physics one, but I put it in the chat, what we're working on for physics. So.
Kim,
oh
you
yeah,
have
and then they can raise
questions in chat. Could you address those, Kim?
Yeah. Can you, so I'll ask just to make it easy.
Oh, here, I can see them. I can see them.
Oh, you can. Okay, good.
Yeah, I can see them. Let's see. Yeah, I heard it's like Pear Deck. I haven't used Pear Deck at all, but I heard it's like that. Yeah, you can do it on either an iPad or a laptop, but not a phone. It doesn't work on the phone, I don't think. And I, as a teacher, like what I did is I kept my Zoom on my laptop, and then I have also an iPad, and then I could scroll through the iPad, right? Although you could do it both on the same one if you're more talented than me. Yeah, and then I randomly just kind of did the stickers, like, because I haven't really played with it that much, but I would probably have stickers set up that would be like, if I knew something was coming, it'd be like, you know, this data needs units, or this graph needs labels, or, you know, I would have like certain stickers set up that I know that I would need to point out, and then I would just sticker those in. And then it's free. ClassKick is free. There's also a pro version, which I think is, our whole school's going to buy it right now. I think it's like $500 for the school. And I think it's only maybe $1,500 in normal times. I'm not really sure. But the free version works fine. It's just the pro version, the kids can export a PDF and also everything saves. Otherwise you can only have like 20 assignments, and it's harder for them to go back. And then hand up, yeah, there's a hand raise feature where they can alert you that they have a question, or other kids, and you can turn it on so they can anonymously help each other. And then you get a little record, I think, of like who helped who, you know, like Johnny helped, you know, Jamila on slide 2 or whatever. And then let's see, can it be used in Google Meetings? So I think what you can do, but I haven't tried it, is if you create a document and you call it, like you name it table 1, right? Like every kid that signs in and writes in table 1 as their name goes into the same document. So I think you could use it like in a breakout room. I don't know if it works with Google Classroom. We have Schoology, but the way we're going to do it, I think, is we're going to have like the weekly class kick. And then in Schoology, we'll just post an assignment with the link that says, do the class kick for this week. We're still kind of figuring out how we're going to do it. It doesn't, I don't think, like merge with the learning management system, but I don't really like those. I'm not really good at Schoology anyway. But it's just more like instead of, they would have had their Google slide deck, they would just be doing that on ClassKick. Oh, good. And then, you know, I can just see it, because like in Google Slides, you know, like I couldn't really give them feedback because it takes forever to go through and open 30 documents. Like I'm not going to do that. But it's so easy on here, especially with the iPad and the little Apple Pencil. I just go click, 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 and it's just, I think it's life changing. I haven't used it in real life though, just with the summer camp kids, but they were 5th and 6th graders and they figured it out fine. So anyway.
And they all had iPads?
No, they all had a device of some sort. Some kids used iPads, some kids used computers, because we did it through Zoom, because it was summer camp through Zoom.
I see.
Yeah. So. Anyway, but you know, feel free if you have any other questions, just email me or catch me on Twitter, because I really, really like this. And yes, I was at chemistry modeling in Maine. Whoever just asked that, Eileen.
Holly, you said you had something to share?
So unless people are tired of hearing about ClassKick, I can show you how it was used for like a whiteboarding thing. So I'll do that really quickly.
That would be great.
So what you're seeing here is actually at the teacher end. And so this is, we assigned this on Monday to our groups. And so I set it up for 6 different groups. And they were told to sign in as group 1 or group 2. And exactly what you see there, that's what they type in. And then you give them a code. And so, for instance, group 6 was on slide 6 and they were working. And so then I can go in and I can see what they're drawing in there. And from the sort of vision here, you can see some groups were going all out with drawing and highlighting and using all different features. And I will say this particular one was pretty math heavy. So I wish I could show you one that had more drawing, but this is the one that I have. And so if that's useful at all to see it used in this particular way.
Does each student have a different color? Is that what I'm seeing on that?
You can assign it so that a student is told that they should have a certain color.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they can also select colors if they want. So if they wanted a color code, but you could say to them, I want person 1 to be this color and person 2, and then you would know who
Right.
put what on the slides.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it would be pretty easy for, one person to do the whole thing. So maybe assigning colors would be a useful tool to keep track of how much work is being done by whom.
Holly, there's
In
a question in the chat about the drawing tool, what students are using for those.
Yeah, so ClassKit can be used asynchronously, so you can actually spread this out to everybody, and then they're just responding, and then you're looking at their work. We just wanted to use it synchronously, so that's why we did the group thing. If you wanted to use it asynchronously, then it would be, you're just your regular roster with kids in there, and then you can even have a grading system where you're looking at their grade or their score. So regarding the drawing tools are embedded in ClassKit. And I will say that the reason we were doing this is because in slides, the drawing is horrible in Google Slides. You go to click on a line, and immediately, as soon as you pick up your hand from a stylus or you stop touching the mouse, it immediately goes back to a pointer. And so you're constantly having to reselect. So if you're doing equations or diagrams or drawings, it is so frustrating to do that in slides. Google Drawings is a little bit like ClassKit in that you select a tool, and then it's a little bit like some people talked about Explain Everything or Microsoft Whiteboard or the iOS script. I can't remember what the drawing is in there, but there are all these different drawing tools, and it's that fluid, it's that nice. And even with a mouse, like I tested it out with a mouse, and I was able with a mouse to do it. I don't like drawing with a mouse, but it was possible.
Sorry, can you clarify, like you said the drawing tool is embedded in ClassKit? What do you, do you need to buy does each student need additional hardware to have like a pen and a touch screen?
Well,
is that it?
Yeah, so let me try sharing this again, and I'll show you what I mean, I hope. And I think it depends, so all these tools up here, these are all the drawing tools. And oh yeah, but I probably can draw on it because, right? So I can now that's me with the mouse, and I'm horrible with the mouse. So, this is me doing a vector, whatever. And hopefully this group, I know they don't care because this was Monday. They don't care. They're never going to look at this again, probably. But
Holly, it's fine. It was my groups. We don't care.
Okay, thanks. So
okay.
Lynn, how about if you talk about what it was like at your end, at the student end, to use this?
Yeah, we can do that. So we all had different devices. So I'm using a yoga that was for my school because it's got a touch screen and my mic works on it, not on my home computer. Someone else in our group has an iPencil and the iPad and that software, and someone else was using a mouse. So we're all using different devices. I've gotten I have a stylus with mine, so I can write on my screen with my stylus. The other guy was using his, and the other person was using the mouse, but we got pretty good at those highlights you see there were the highlight feature from the guy's his iPencil. The numbers that you're seeing written down, I did those with my finger on the screen.
Yep.
So those ones down there, it's super amazing handwriting, but those were done with my finger on the screen. I just blew the screen up, hand wrote it in, and then shrunk it back down. So it was actually really kind of nice because we have, like, on the side, we'll have our side camera here where we're seeing the three of us and we're talking over and we're sharing one screen, or we're each working on our own slide, and you can see everything collaboratively that way. I was actually really impressed with the drawing app compared to slides. The only thing I would caution with it is, for some reason, on my computer, it does weird things. Sometimes it won't let me save and exit. I have to close the entire file down, open it back up, and then it will let me save and exit. And until you hit save and exit, no one else outside of your group can see that slide.
Oh. Huh.
So are you guys taking those slides and then pasting them into somewhere else, or are you sharing them from there?
So I should say that this was a one-shot deal. I'm working with Jess Dykes, and the setup, we're tag teaming on the setup for these things. And because one thing that ClassKick does not do easily, although they do it, it just, you have to communicate with ClassKick and ask for this. They don't allow two teachers to collaborate on an account. And so he couldn't, he had no ability to do anything with that, to set it up or get it into Canvas. So he wanted to go to either using the slides or the documents. So what we went to, and I'll try to grab one of those. I think I can get one of those here. So I'm thinking that you're still seeing this, and
Yep, we see it.
I don't know what's on here because I haven't, it's been a while since I've looked at these. So some of them are probably blank because I set them up. So here is a response to something, and if I move my mouse, I'll be able to scroll for you. So this is the next thing that I did, and this is pretty empty. So this is probably, I'm gonna guess, a mistake. Let me see if I can find a better one for you. I think we ran out of time on those maybe. Lynn, I don't know if you remember a good one to share. We're getting better with it too. So I will say that as the week has progressed, like if I go to a different session, maybe that would help. So let me just explain that we were really frustrated with the slides, so we decided not to use that. But then we went to using document. And what I did was I opened a document, and then I would just, so this is people trying to explain why does a capacitor, when it's in parallel, allow more energy, and when it's in series allow less. And we gave them, I think, 2 minutes for this. And we I mean, really, you know, we were like, get in your groups and do whatever. And so I created a table of one column with really big series. And then inside the table, I inserted a Google drawing, and just a new Google drawing. And then that's this rounded thing that you see here. And so once they click on that, they're in the drawing part of Google. Now, for some reason, and I don't know if they'll fix this, Google Slides doesn't allow you to insert a drawing. But I will say that I think the drawing features in the Google Drawing is almost as good as ClassKick. And again, because it's all in one, so we did our slides and we did our drawings this way in our documents, so that every group is on one document. So everything that they're doing is on a single document, and we can look at that document together. They can also look at their document together. And so any student at any time can go look and see what somebody else is doing. But while they're looking at what somebody else is doing, and in the drawing feature, they have a lot of leeway. That person probably didn't know how to use it, so they were actually pasting on top, which is fine, you know. So this group decided to take screenshots and throw them in there, which is again fine. So the only thing is that it is a little wonky sometimes. You know, you're trying to save something and it doesn't appear to save it, then later it shows up. And that's a Google thing. Those of us who know Google know that that's a Google thing. But it's all on one document. It's not a zillion different documents you're trying to deal with. And so again, any group can look on anybody else's work. And if they get to somebody's work, like let's say this is blank, all they have to do is double click on it and they will see what is going on at that moment. So it looks like nothing's going on, but then you click in it and there's stuff there for what that's worth. So this is what we've been using more. So people are really getting good at this.
And I just want to ask the question. So, and then why did you choose that over slides again?
So we chose that over slides because the slides feature, so I can show you that from an earlier session. Slides feature is like, you go to click on something. So this is probably like here, we're doing whiteboards and we're in slides. And so here is some answers to charge on sticky tape. So this is the slides. This is, you know, a prompt that they were given.
You're not
don't
screen
judge
sharing.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, just lost it there for a second. So this is one where they were given a prompt. And so here are the different slides. So the group was told, go to whatever slide, and then you have to respond to whatever. This person used their dog to charge up something. I think they're electrophorus. So this is a sticky tape. You know, they're trying to do sticky tape at home, and so this is actually the practicum. They had to figure out how much charge was on a sticky tape. This group was amazing. It was very interesting seeing what they had done. So these are all the different things that people did. So here's the problem. I want to draw, so I go up to select a line, and I hit a line, and I decide that I'm going to draw on this. Well, great. Now I want to put another line on there, like, because I want to put a vector on there maybe. And it's already gone to pointer, so I have to come back up here and I have to get to line. Now, as far as I know, there's no way to lock that feature. And I've searched on, we've done a lot of searching trying to figure out what can we use for these things. And nobody has shared if they have found a way to lock those. So it gets really frustrating when you are trying to draw lengthy pictures in slides. So that's why we left slides.
Yeah, I would say because Google Slides is not the appropriate Google product to use for doing drawings or whiteboardings. I've been using Google Jamboard, the Jamboard app, which is a dedicated whiteboarding and creativity tool. It's part of a larger system that you can buy, but the app is free and it's cross-platform. And it allows you to whiteboard simultaneously, all the students together, that with it being shared and that sort of thing, using Google Drive. It's also interacts really well with Google Classroom. So I made Jamboards for students that were able to draw forest diagrams, that sort of thing. It's a more natural kind of drawing thing. I wouldn't use Google Draw or Google Slides for that, but Jamboard seems more similar to ClassKick, what you're showing.
Since we're kind of in the Google Slides, I'm going to have Renee was going to demo Pear Deck for us because I know there was a question about Pear Deck, and so I've asked her to kind of share it. Renee, if you would, will you demo that?
Yep. So Pear Deck works with Google Slides. It is a paid platform, and this is what it looks like when you're making your slides. It's what do they call that? An extension that gets added to Google Slides, and you can add text, multiple choice, number answers, a website link. You can draw on it, and there is also a draggable. So this is one of the ones that I do with my kids, and I gave each breakout room, I use Zoom, I gave each breakout room a slide. And you can see that this says students draw anywhere on this slide. So when I start the lesson, if I go to start the lesson, it'll open as a Pear Deck. And it can be either asynchronous or synchronous. So I'm going to start this one as synchronous. When it's synchronous, the kids are locked to one screen. I don't know why it's doing that.
Because we're watching.
Yeah, probably. Come on. I'm also upstairs, and so I'm not right next to the router. Let's see. Let me minimize that, and I'll show you what their website looks like before. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So this is the teacher dashboard. You can open it as a projector view or a teacher dashboard. The kids are given a join code. And they go to joinpd.com and they enter the code. You can also give them a link. But the kids see this. I'll show you what the kids see. This is what you see. So if somebody is writing, you can actually see what they are writing. The projector screen looks like this. Maybe. So when you first put it up, it looks like this. I usually click on give students a link and I copy it into the Zoom chat so that they can get to it. And you are in control when it's synchronous. So it's you go from one screen to another. So I'm going to end this one and show you what an actual session looks like. But I can actually end it and leave it asynchronous so that the kids can jump in. Hold on, let me pull this down. Okay. I don't know why that popped up. Let's go to Pear Deck. So here's Pear Deck at their actual website. And I am logged in already. I use it all the time, so I have a little crown on my profile. But here are the sessions that I have done. And I can reopen the sessions at any time. Let me show you one that has what the kids have done in it. I'm going to open the teacher dashboard view. I'm hoping this one has drawings in it. I have one that doesn't have any. There they are. Okay, so this particular slide right here, the kids were asked a question and they answered the questions in here. On this one, again, it was a question. I'm trying to find one that's a draw so you can see how they draw on the slides. But this is a teacher dashboard. So at any point this is in student paste, so the kids can go through. At any point I can turn off student paste, which will lock them to a particular screen. And I can turn it on at any point. You make it ahead of time in Google Slides. Let's close that. They also have templates that you can use. You can do beginning of lesson templates. There are science templates. Where are they? Right here. Which gives you all kinds of things that they can draw on, including a graph. And I've used the graph one before. So while the kids are drawing, you can see what they're drawing. You can also jump in. You can turn it back to teacher mode at any time and you can give them some help. As I mentioned, this slide right here, I put this in synchronous and each of my breakout rooms had a different slide and I could watch them drawing on it. And I could jump in and give them help whenever they needed it. I'm not sure how good that demonstration is, but do you have any questions about that?
Renee, you're going to share some of this tomorrow in your bio session too?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I am. And I'll have some of the specific ones that you can actually see the drawings. And I'll actually have people join in. I can actually have people join in to the Pear Deck and you can actually try it so you can see how it works from the student side.
I just like to say that I find that different kids have different preferences. And so I don't like to limit them to one tool. So I allow them to use whatever tool they're most comfortable with. And then they paste whatever they create into the Google Slides so I can see what they're doing. And that's, I mean, everybody may not like that, but that's worked well for me given the fact that different kids have different devices at home and they all don't have the same comfort level with the different tools.
I know there was also a question about Cami. And John, I had asked you do you have something ready?
Yeah, hit me. Well, I guess I can.
Okay, so you need to share.
Yeah, all right. And you can tell where I'm at. Wait, that's not the right one. Here we go. Yeah, and I wanted to share Cami just because this was something that at the end of the year, I do the director of technology role as well. And like if I asked my teachers, like if you could pick one app, what would you keep for next year? And Cami was far and away the easiest one for them. And that's just because when we're thinking about like worksheets or documents that we already have, what's the best way to recreate that kind of that analog experience of them filling out the worksheet and working together on stuff. This was probably the easiest thing for me. And let me just find, I think I've got something open already. This is a physics class. This is Google Classroom if you haven't used it. Let's see, yeah, energy pie charts is a good one. And then Ariana's, I think she did a lot of work on this. So you can actually see, oh wait, no, I have it open. Okay. you can see Ariana's work right here. And Cami, so like I said, it's a PDF annotator. Essentially, you create an assignment in Google Classroom or some LMS. Let me have this. And Cami lets the kids annotate the PDF. And you can see, like, we have Chromebooks, but we don't have we have a lot of kids that don't have styluses or anything like that. I think Ariana did for this one, but they found it was pretty easy to do. And I picked the energy pie charts worksheet because that's one I think we're all pretty familiar with if you're in physics, or it's just, you know, it's a pretty simple idea. And you can see that it really, for energy pie charts, it was easy for them to draw. It was easy for them to annotate and ask questions. Some of these are wrong. I know that, by the way. And you can see, like, it lets them kind of work in the same way they did when they were in class. And what I did usually was I'd put them in a breakout room in Zoom, and I'd say, okay, one of you share your screen and kind of talk through the worksheet, and then everybody else has to help them. So one person was the scribe, and they got to kind of write. I also just said, sometimes I would give it to them on Monday, and I knew I wouldn't see them again until Friday, and I said, go ahead and finish this worksheet, turn it in, and then I'll annotate. And this is where I think it became really helpful. They have a lot of these same tools over on the left, but you can comment. They can leave comments if they don't have a stylus and they don't want to write out the words. They can use a text box, and they can write in the words themselves if they want. You can write out equations. And what I really like to do was you can leave comments. You can leave voice comments. You can leave video comments. So if I'm like trying to use my hands to do something, I can show them that. I can leave a text comment as well. I can highlight things. They can use pencils. They can draw. They can use shapes. So a lot of the tools that we want them to have in person, they get to use through Cami.
A couple of questions, John. One
Sure.
is this free?
No, it's not free, and I don't know the exact amount. I'm sure it costs some. I don't remember if there's a free version or not. But like I said, yeah, it's worth looking into. I don't remember the actual cost. I know that they were kind of caught flat-footed with this transition to remote learning, but they've been putting in a lot of work. It's a group from New Zealand.
John, it is free with basic tools, but it won't usually integrate in the LMS unless you pay for it.
Gotcha. Okay.
The cost is $99 for one teacher and 150 students, just one payment.
Okay, gotcha. So that's good to know. Thank you.
And then the other question is, can you have multiple editors on the same document?
Yes, I believe so. Okay. The way I had this set up was in Google Classroom, it made a copy of the PDF, but I think the way to do it originally was you can have group annotators, which is really good. So I did the energy story, and I just wanted to show Zach's because like his was very clearly, I said go through and annotate it. I didn't talk about it in class with them, but I said you get 100 points this week for 10 points. Go through and like show me that you read it. And this was just really helpful, I think, for rather than having to make PowerPoint slides from scratch and having to do all of these things, it made it a little bit easier, at least this past trimester, to keep some of the work that we have done in the past. And I know there are other people that use this probably a lot more fluently than I did, but this is just something for me. It made my life way easier, so I felt like it was important to share.
And John, were you meeting with your class live?
I met with them. We were encouraged to meet, I think, twice a week minimum. So yeah, I had the ability to do that and go over that with them. I usually did a Monday or Tuesday was our first one where I set up the week. And then I had a couple days of asynchronous work and then ended the class. And that's when we did whiteboard discussions at the end of every week. It did slow down the process a lot, or I guess the modeling cycle a lot, but I found that it was, this gave them that stuff in the middle to do. That was, where they could go off and do the work themselves.
Cool. We have about 5 more minutes. Anything else to share?
I actually have a question, if I may.
Sure.
So I'm wondering if anybody out there, you know how you can find things kind of like the PhET simulations, but maybe not so sophisticated, something where you've got motion to your pictures, or being able to create little videos like that. How do people do that? Like, are there any apps you can use to make those sorts of things, or that sort of resource? Because I spend an awful lot of time looking for some kind of animation that doesn't exist.
Physics Aviary is good for some kind of simulation type things. I use that with some of my freshman labs. It's kind of a low version of like the Pivot Interactives thing. I also had a lot of my kids using Huddle Technique. I linked to that, and I linked a video that I took with it where I took some data and then I sent it out for the kids to use. What I like about Huddle Technique is it puts a timestamp down at the bottom, and kids can actually scroll through it like frame by frame, so it takes advantage of the slow motion video capabilities that the phones have. And when you export the video, it keeps the time stamp down at the bottom too, so they can match it up in real time to stuff that's going on. So I thought that was a cool trick, and my kids like using that a lot.
One thing I've been doing kind of in reverse is when I'm on Twitter and I see there's all these videos that have such good physics, because I'm teaching physics, I'll take a screenshot movie of the movie, and I just load those into a folder, and I'll make QR codes for them, and I'll put the QR codes into my student materials. So if I want them to see some little video for them to explain what's going on in a particular situation, they can scan the QR code, see the video, and then they can answer their questions about it. So that's kind of from the paper world, but of course it's even easier now because, you know, they can just hit links.
So I'm going to take just a second to make a pitch for AMTA's new free smartphone app for Android and iOS. We have a magnetic field mapping augmented reality app. It's called Magna AR, and yeah, I just mapped the magnetic field around my keyboard, and I'm going to see if I can show it to you on my phone. Oh, where'd the arrows go? Shoot. But the great thing about this app is that you can you can map a field. If a camera in your phone can see it, you can map the magnetic field around it. And it has arrows that point in directions. It has magnitudes and microteslas, so that you can see the magnitude and direction of the magnetic field around from whatever angle you want. So if you want to map the field facing this way and then turn it and look at the directions of those arrows from another direction, you can. The dimensionality of it is a game changer in terms of trying to think about 3D things. So it's free if you teach E&M. Go get it.
Just a quick thought to all who are contributing to the Google Documents. If you are logged into your Google account, it will show who made that. If you made a comment or something, it'll show you.
Excellent reminder. And I see a lot of great things popping up in the chat. I am going to copy the chat and put it into our session folder so that we can access all that. But if you have links and things to share, it'd be great to please go ahead and add those to the participant notes in the session folder. I do want to remind everyone, I'm going to make sure that we end on time so that you have time for a break. The next session is on equity. I highly recommend it. I think it's going to be an awesome session. There will be an untech tools later session later, which will be great for all those of us who may not be so sure what exactly we can use as far as technology in our classroom come this fall. But the next session starts at 45 after the hour, or quarter till. And there is a keep the conversation going. So if you want to keep talking about it, there's a link to basically go out into a lobby like we normally would and go out into the lobby and keep going and keep talking until we had to run into the next session and be a couple minutes late.
Where's that link, Melissa? Sorry for people that weren't listening.
On the schedule. It's if you've got the Google
on the
Doc
doc.
open on the schedule, it's on the sidebar of the inside.
You may have to scroll over, but there is a virtual lobby that'll be going all day long, and then a keep the conversation going, so you can pop over there and chat. And that being said, it is now time to end our session. To give you some time to stand up, walk around, go grab something to eat before the next session on equity in the classroom begins at 45 after the hour.
All right. So I am ending the session, folks. Good to see you.